Hello, I'm Liz Lumley of Finextra, and we're here at the SAP Financial Services Forum in London. And today I'm speaking to Bob Cummings of SAP, and we're going to talk about digital transformation in insurance. Those are probably three words a lot of people in this industry didn't think that they would hear. So I apologize for this. I'm going to often compare it to banking, but we've been hearing a lot the past few years about digital transformation in banking. But how far behind would you say insurance is in comparison to banking?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's sometimes hard to compare actually banking with insurance, because banking is something you consume every day, right? If you're lucky, you never consume insurance, right? You sign it once, and if you have no claims, you might never do anything with it again. So the banking industry was very, very pressured into making that consumer experience very quick and easy. So of course, many years ago already, they launched out into the digital space and put a lot of investment around that. It was for a while unclear how exactly one should consume insurance, right? Because unless you have a claim or something, what is actually the customer relationship? So more and more now, though, companies are moving into trying to understand what are all the other kinds of services that a consumer may want in insurance. So they're looking at in your home. When you have homeowners insurance, usually you don't touch it until there's a fire or something. But now with new devices and new digital technologies, you can actually get into the home to reduce the risk, and you can also adjust your premiums to compensate for that adjustment in risk. Or if you can see how the driving behavior is and you can actually start to improve it, you're starting to reduce the risk. So a bank is all about liquidity, whereas an insurance company is all about risk, right? So it's a different arena, if you like. But indeed, I mean, we're only starting to see now the massive investments into digital, whereas in banking we saw that more than 10 years ago already.
I'm glad you mentioned investments. You know, I hate to use the word disruption, but does insurance kind of represent the next big industry that's ripe for disruption and transformation?
I think so. I think if you look at scholars of disruption, if you look at Clayton Christensen's work and stuff, it's those industries that become extremely commoditized, where a distance starts to develop between a consumer and the product, which we're starting to see in the insurance industry. I mean, if you look at how many products there are out there, most people just choose by price, right? Now insurance companies need to start rethinking, and actually it's not just insurance companies, it's also other players in that space who start to provide protection services, health services, transportation services, who are getting into that piece and actually are eyeing the financial service or the risk coverage aspect of it. So there's a lot coming together, and I definitely believe in the coming years we're going to see a big disruption in the industry. We're already seeing it in some countries. If you look at Discovery in South Africa, if you look at some of these security companies, they're starting to really wake the industry up to see that, hey, we might have to look at this thing in a different light beyond even the financial service aspect of the product.
So I wanted to go back a little bit to what you were talking about with investments. I mean, where do some of these opportunities lie then in the insurance industry?
So the insurance companies are really investing. If you think back, insurance companies used to invest a lot in their product, what they make sure they have a good product they can sell. And I would say the customer was kind of secondary in the sense that the customer would hold the product, but it was essentially a financial contract with the customer. Now there's a lot of investment to understand what the customer is doing, how the customer is going to develop in a new business model, how a customer views their home protection, their life protection, their wealth management, and they're starting to think about what can we do as additional services. I'll give you a great example. We work with companies insurance companies that want to provide maybe building insurance. In the past, there's a lot of things that go into a building where you can improve the safety. For example, changing the fire extinguishers on time or making sure that the sprinkler systems are on. Usually that was outsourced to other companies. Insurers didn't want to touch that. Now they're starting to say, hey, what if we actually start delivering those services? It doesn't mean that they physically deliver the services. It just means that they have to, in partnership with other companies, start to do that, which most industries in the world do all day long anyway, but it's a little bit new for the insurance industry.
Yeah, I think it's new for a lot in financial services as well. It's great, Bob. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Cool.